You already had the feeling that she started to walk away, and you had no idea why. Perhaps suddenly the messages got colder, the long answers, and that intense connection began to disappear without explanation. And then you caught yourself thinking, what did I do wrong? I was attentive, I was present, I showed interest. But here is the brutal truth that almost nobody tells you. Being too cool guy is exactly what turns off a woman's emotional desire. The female attraction is not moved by logic. It is lit in the subconscious, activated by invisible emotional stimuli. And the worst? If you don't understand this, you will continue to be that good guy who is seen as too cool to be desired. What really creates emotional obsession with a woman is what few men have the courage to practice: controlled detachment, mysterious presence, high perceived value. You may even be the most affectionate guy in the world, but if you don't know how to trigger the right triggers, you'll keep seeing women lose interest without even understanding why. And this is where many make a mistake. They think they need to explain more, show more, run after. But the more you try to rationalize the attraction, the more you remove your desire. Because her desire is not born of logic, born of emotion. And emotions are activated by contrast, not for comfort. If you want to become the kind of man who makes a woman think of you all day, not knowing how to explain why, you need to stop seeking validation. You need to start using your presence as a gun of attraction. You need to understand that the right silence has more impact than 1,000 words, and that an enigmatic look says more than any long and emotional statement. Seduction begins in the invisible. It is in the way you occupy a space, the way you impose limits, in the way you transmit confidence without saying anything. It is its perceived value that creates desire, not the amount of attention you offer. And the craziest of all this? You don't have to change who you are. You just need to change the way you position yourself, because when you understand this hidden game of the feminine mind, everything changes. She begins to see you differently. It begins to desire you irrationally. She begins to chase you and won't even understand why. And now that you know what's behind her departure, let me show you how to turn this game to your advantage. Let me show you how to turn this game to your advantage. But before we continue, I want to propose you a challenge. Comment down here, "I'll change," if you are really determined to stop being the guy who always pleases and starts to become the man who activates real emotional desire. This is not just a sentence. This is a commitment to yourself, your evolution, your new posture in relationships. When you write, you declare. When you declare, you act. And when you act, you transform. This space here is more than a video on YouTube. It is a turning point for those who have tired of living on the autopilot of love frustrations. So leave the like now, because this content will open your mind to something no one has taught you, neither books, friends, nor relationship coaches. And you subscribe to the channel, because from now on, we will build your new value step by step. You will understand how to wake up a woman's deepest emotional side and the best, while being you, just learning to be the most magnetic, mysterious, and confident version of yourself. Now pay attention to what I will reveal to you next, because this is where you will understand the power of mysterious presence and why she is able to leave any woman addicted to you, even if she doesn't even know it yet. Let's go. Now pay attention to what I will reveal to you next, because this is where you will understand the power of mysterious presence and why she is able to leave any woman addicted to you, even if she doesn't even know it yet. Men who dominate this art are not necessarily the most beautiful, the highest, or the richest, but there is something about them that draws attention, that holds the look, which makes a woman keep thinking about them days after a simple meeting. And do you know what this is? This is what I call the presence of high value. A magnetic presence that does not need exaggerated words or constant demonstrations of affection. It is that silent energy that enters an environment and changes everything around. Most guys still believe they need to impress with ready sentences, display achievements, show that it is good enough to her. But bro, let me tell you a truth that few understand. When you feel the need to prove something, you automatically communicate that you have no value by yourself. Your presence needs to speak for you. She needs to be dense, firm, safe, and it starts with P. What attitudes that say a lot. It begins, for example, with the firm and paused look. It is not about facing invasively, but about transmitting security without haste, without anxiety. It's that look that shows that you are comfortable with yourself, and you don't need her approval to feel a man. Women perceive this on time, and do you know what happens? They feel curiosity. Because you are not offering yourself, you are positioning yourself. Then comes the enigmatic smile. The one who appears subtly, without haste, and does not deliver everything at once. A smile that seems to know more than you are saying, which does not beg for connection, but invites to the mystery. This moves her emotional side, because women are attracted to what challenges logic and activates imagination. And right now, you're no longer one, and it starts to be that guy who doesn't get out of her head. Another powerful point is to be unpredictable with intention. I'm not talking about making silly games or disappearing out of nowhere. I'm talking about not obvious, not being the one who answers everything the same, always speaks the same things, and acts the same way as all the other guys she has ever known. From time to time, change the tone, answer differently, break the pattern of the conversation, make a purposeful break, disappear for a few hours and come back with a renewed energy. This creates emotional tension, and the tension, when well applied, generates intense attraction. All this is what we call the scarcity of attention. You don't have to be available all the time. And by the way, it should not be. The value is in scarcity. When you distribute your attention as if it were free, it loses its value. But when you know how to control the flow of your presence, it becomes rare. And all that is rare becomes valuable. Body language is another essential detail. Retreat posture, open shoulders, calm breath. It's not about looking like a robot or forcing being someone you are not. It is about allowing yourself to occupy your space naturally, firmly, with self-control. This shows that you are not looking for anyone's approval. You have already validated inside, and that for a woman is highly attractive, much more than rehearsed phrases or exaggerated compliments. Do you want to be remembered by her without saying a word? Then stop trying to impress and start to make yourself feel. The female mind is emotional, sensory, and guided by stimuli that are not always obvious. Your presence needs to be like a rare perfume. She feels, but can't explain. And that's what makes her think of you before bed, even if you only changed a few words. Now tell me, are you ready to be this guy? The one who does not beg for attention, but who dominates the environment with only one look. So comment below. Presence is power. If this message made sense to you, and if you want to keep learning more about how to master the seduction game, leave the like now and subscribe to the channel, because in the next video, I will show you how to turn this presence into a deep emotional connection, the ones that make her surrender without realizing why. But there's something even more powerful you need to understand. But before turning this presence into deep emotional connection, you need to understand one of the most powerful and often invisible techniques that exist within modern seduction, the technique of the emotional mirror. This is the key that separates the ordinary man from the one who becomes unforgettable. Because it is not enough just to awaken physical attraction or maintain a high-value posture. You need to get into her mind. You need to create that feeling that you have something rare, intimate, inexplicable, even if she only met you a few days ago. And how do you do that? Mirroring what really matters to her. Women are emotional by nature. They connect with feeling, emotional affinity, and recognition. This means that more than hearing what she says, you need to make her feel heard. And not forcibly, not pretending attention, but being totally present. When a woman realizes that you capture the details, that you listen to what is behind the words, that you understand her energy, she begins to feel that you are different. And then something almost magical happens. It lowers emotional guard and begins to open to a more intense connection. Want a simple and straightforward example of how to apply this in everyday life? Pay attention. When she talks about something she loves, it can be a song, a book, a striking experience of childhood. Not only respond with, "Ah, how cool." This is empty. This is shallow, and shallow does not connect. Instead, tell you a real micro-history that has a similar tone. It doesn't have to be identical, but that share the same feeling. It can be a memory that also marked you, a similar feeling. This activates her scarf neurons, an area of the brain responsible for creating ball IA. And when she activates this emotional part by your side, she begins to feel safe, intimately, connected with you. But it goes further. The emotional mirror technique also manifests itself in subtle behavior. Notice the rhythm of her speech, in the tone of voice, in body language. When you mirror it naturally and repeat natural without looking robotic or calculated, her brain understands that you are emotionally aligned. She feels a hot familiarity, a lightness in interaction. And women addicted to this lightness. They can't explain, but something inside them shouts, "This guy understands me." And this is what builds lasting emotional bond, much more than empty compliments or shallow strategies of conquest. You become that guy she wants to have around, that she wants to talk before bed, that she misses for no apparent reason, because you were not just present, you reflected what it is. And when someone feels truly reflected, she feels she needs you around. And that is power. And look, if you got here, it's because something inside you is ready to change the game. So now is the time to turn this content into real practice. I want you to tell me in the comments, "I am the mirror," if you understand the power of this technique and are ready to apply. This phrase will mark a new kind of behavior in your relationships. And if anything I said here has made you rethink your attitudes, or if you have already used something like it in the past and it has resulted, comments too. Tell your experience. And if you want me to deepen this theme in the next videos, I comment on "I want" that I will prepare something even more advanced about how to keep her desire lit for a long time, even when the routine starts to squeeze. Leave the like now. It shows that this content has made sense to you. Subscribe to the channel and activates the bell, because in the next video, I will show you the difference between being desired just and being discarded like everyone else. And bro, this key turn will change everything. But before you get there is one last point that can be the most powerful of all.